All right, so hey everybody. Um, Thanks for coming back to Wellness Wednesdays. Um, so we have Candace Aulick on, who is the clinical director for Strong Minds. Um, so probably going to talk a little bit more about some of the things that we talked about last week. Probably being more or a better resource than Colin, Mo, and I than on some of the things we talked about, uh, but yeah, so go ahead and turn it over to you, Candace.
Hi, everybody. I did listen to you a couple of weeks ago, Trent, and I thought you did a wonderful job, actually. Talked about all the things. We're going to talk a little bit more about that today, a little bit more specifically, but I thought you guys touched on some really important issues. So let me talk a little bit about what Strong Minds is first. And it's a Special Olympics initiative that teaches athletes strategies to help with stress. And if you can help with your stress and manage your stress, then you can have really strong mental health. So that's what the whole Strong Minds initiative is. And we're going to go over some of the strategies today and kind of practice a little bit, some of the breathing and some of the stretching. And then at the end, I'd like to do a little meditation, a guided meditation, if that's okay with everybody. So when you hear the term strong mind, what does that mean to you? Anybody want to take a stab at that?
I'll do it.
Okay.
Having a strong mind is like, in everyday life, it would be like being mentally and physically aware of who you are and like being, able to overcome any type of like anxiety or being able to manage it. And then in terms of sports, it's like having that foundation from everyday life, mental health, and then being able to like use it so your performance improves that way. Like you don't get behind the starting block or on the court and you're panicking, you're at peace and just able to go on with the task in front of you. So I would say just mental health really is just being aware of who you are and being able to deal with things that are, hard at times, but just putting your best foot forward and using strategies that I guess you're going to tell us about. So, yeah.
That's perfect, Colin. That's a perfect explanation. And it's all about good mental health. And people think that stress management is not having any stress. There's no way possible that we can't have stress in this world. But what it is, it's your reaction to the stress and what you do with that reaction. So that's what we're going to talk a little bit about today. All right. So I have a PowerPoint here, and I was telling Kim and Kelly that I was having some issues. So let me see. Hopefully it'll work. Hang in there with me for a minute. All right, everybody can see that okay? Cool. All right, so these are the initiatives of the Strong Mind program. And so we're going to go through, I know that you've talked a lot about these before, but I'm going to go through them quickly and talk about some examples. So connecting with others is extremely important. You all know that. This past year has been very challenging, hasn't it, to try to connect with people. And I think that we've learned different ways to connect with people that we've never been able to do that before. Like we're all getting pretty good at Zoom calls, texting, FaceTiming, just regular phone calls. So that's extremely important. We all need people, and we need people on a regular basis. And if we don't get that connection, then it's really hard for us, really hard for our mental health. So that's the first initiative. I know you talked about this a couple of weeks ago, getting 8 hours of sleep, getting up at the same time, going to bed at the same time. But then I also want to talk a little bit about routine. Developing a routine when you go to sleep, that's extremely important, because once you go through that routine, it helps your body and helps your mind cue that it's time to slow down. So for an example, my routine at night is I always read, and I don't read on my tablet because of the light. So I'll read a book, or I'll do a little bit of yoga or do some stretching. I have a cat. She always seems to know when it's time to go to bed. So she'll go in the bedroom around the time that we normally go to bed. And she takes her turn staying on my husband for a while and then staying on me. And that's kind of helps us both to sleep. I also use, I don't know if you all have ever seen one of these, it's a sound machine. And it makes different sounds, like this is some music. Can you hear that? Or the ocean, rain. So it has all those different things you can turn on and sleep by, which really helps me. And I'll use different ones depending on what my day's been like, how tense I am. So do you all have a routine that you follow? Can someone share what their routine might be at night that helps them fall asleep?
I just try to get to bed as early as I can, or at least I try to get everything that I need to do. I try to get that finished early so I can go to bed somewhat early at a reasonable time.
And if you do that, I'm assuming when you go to bed, you're not waking up going, oh, I need to do this, or I'd add this to
Exactly.
my list. So that
Ex-
kind of helps clear your mind, doesn't it?
Exactly. If I don't do that, I don't know why, but I'll be in a dead sleep, and then I'll be like, oh, did I forget to do this? And
Yeah.
then I'll wake up, because otherwise I'm going to worry about it and worry about it. And it's just best that I just wake up and check on that thing that I forgot to do, just to make sure I did it. So that's
Yes.
just me.
Now, I think that's really common, Morgan. I think that happens to a lot of people. And we don't clear our mind before we go to bed. We don't slow down before we go to bed. So
Yes.
if you're thinking about a lot of things and you're really active and then you go to bed, it takes a while for your body and your mind to slow down.
Yes, it
I
does.
think that's great. Yeah, Colin.
I was just gonna say, from like a sports perspective, for the Special Olympic athletes and just athletes in general, um, like getting a good night rest before you play a sport or even work out, or even do any sort of physical activity, is really important. That you're at, like, one night you might watch a show and go to bed, okay, that's fine, whatever. But like, if you have something big the next day, it's actually very important to like calm your body down, so when you wake up you're like fully rested, and like it will decrease your anxiety about like what you have going forward, because your focus and like mental health will be way better. So I would just say, like, for me, I just make sure I get to bed on time and like drink a bunch of water before I go to bed. I've been trying to do that a lot more, because I feel like you wake up like way more energized. So I guess that's just kind of like a tip. I don't know. But
No,
yeah.
I think that's a good tip, because if you think about it, if you go to bed and you sleep 8 hours, well, you're not taking any fluid in for those 8 hours. You're not taking any food in. So sometimes if you do that way before you go to sleep, you'll wake up hungry in the middle of the night or thirsty. So no, I think that's a great idea.
And like also just like the meditation, like you said, like with the music or whatever, it can really put you in that like performance mode. Like, even if you listen to like a low volume podcast about, like, say you're playing basketball the next day, you just listen to it. Like, when you sleep, you might possibly like dream about that stuff, or like it'll make you more excited in a good way. Therefore, you're not as anxious. So yeah.
I think all those kinds of things are really good for people, ways for people to relax. Listening to music, something podcast that doesn't take a lot of thought or it doesn't get you all riled up. Sometimes I listen to podcasts, I get all riled up, so then I can't sleep. So something that's more calming and more relaxing is absolutely great idea.
Hey, Candace, can I share something really quick?
Absolutely.
So for me, I'm a Special Olympics athlete, but for me, whenever I go out of town to play all my sports and stuff, it's very hard for me to sleep whenever I'm not in my own bed, you know?
Yeah.
So what I try to do, and I know I probably shouldn't do it, but while I'm in the hotels and stuff, I always watch TV until like I try to fall asleep. Because I used to use one of the noisemakers, you know. But I mean, I don't have it no more, but still, I still try to watch TV to calm my mind down before I go to sleep, you know.
Mhm. Well, that works for a lot of people because sometimes when you watch TV, it's mindless unless you're watching something that you really have to think about. Like you shouldn't watch the news before you go to bed, something like that. It's all disturbing. So I think that's a great idea. And you have to find out what works for you, what works for Colin or for me or Trent or Kim or anybody else. It may not work for you. So that's the tricky part is you have to experiment and find what works for you. But that's a great idea. Thank you, Hayden. Anybody else want to share? Okay. Well, let's move on. Staying active, you all know a lot about that because you're athletes. And I think it's important to stay active every day, at least 30 minutes a day. And that could be your workout that you do to prepare, or it could be yoga. It could be a walk. I like to walk. And so that's important to do something every day. It makes it hard though when you can't get out as much as you normally get out, but hopefully that's changing a little bit. It seems like things are opening up, and hopefully we'll be able to move about a little bit more than we have moved about this last year. Eating healthy foods. I know you had a session on nutrition, and I think that's extremely important. I think we forget sometimes that our mind and our bodies are connected, and what we do to our bodies affects our mind. For an example, I totally gave up sugar a couple months ago. I heard Trent talk a couple weeks ago that he went vegan, and how much better he felt. And I can tell a tremendous amount of difference since I gave up sugar. And I'm stronger. I can walk farther. My endurance is better. I'm sleeping better. I'm not as moody. And it's just, you have to find some things that really work for you. So
I think
also sugar.
Lee had a question. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
She had her hand up. You can
Okay,
go ahead, Lee.
I can't see everybody. So yeah, that's fine.
You're on mute, Lee. There you go.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you. I always go to bed at the same time and, stay hydrated, and you have to take your time, not be so stressed. Because I've been stressed doing gymnastics. I wear a mask for 3 hours on those days. And I just have a hard time to breathe with my mask on. But I have to practice the distance and wear a mask. I have to do something, stay away from the COVID-19.
Right.
And I have to keep going, keep moving, and stay active, but drink more water. And I have to concentrate what I'm doing. And gymnastics is a really point for me because it stays strong and be where you are, just be yourself, be a good athlete. And that's I need to work on and be a positive attitude and having fun.
That's absolutely right, Lee. And the positive attitude, we're going to talk about that in just a minute. That's extremely important. Extremely important. For good for you that you're focusing on that. Because this last year has been hard for everybody for lots and lots of reasons. And I think it's been hard for people to keep a positive attitude, but there are a lot of positive things that have come out of this past year. So if you can do that, you're going to be really strong mentally. So good job.
Thank you.
Okay, so we were talking about healthy foods. You all have gotten this information before, and it's just helpful to think about how some of the foods affect your body, like sugar, like caffeine. You shouldn't eat either one of those, drink either one of those before you go to bed or very much during the day at all. So try to drink decaffeinated drinks if you can. Stay away from energy drinks, which I know it's hard when you're an athlete. You want that added punch, but they're just really, they're full of caffeine and sugar, really, really hard on your body and on your mind. It'll increase your anxiety. If you're prone to depression, it'll make your depression worse. So the more you can stay away from that and drink a lot of water or non-sugar drinks would be fantastic. Okay, using strong mind strategies, and those are deep breathing, stretching, yoga, thinking positive thoughts, like Lee said. So I know breathing is extremely important. So what I'd like to do is kind of take you through a little bit. We're going to do this a little bit more in just a second on another slide, but just kind of take you through a couple minutes of breathing. Okay, so I want everybody to just kind of sit up straight and try to breathe. I'm going to do two different kinds. This one is just breathing normally, but take a nice deep breath and hold it for a couple seconds. And then just let it out. And let's do that again. Breathe in and breathe out. Can you tell a difference just in those two breaths that your body feels a little bit different? We're going to go through a little bit longer one here in just a minute, but that's extremely important to do that, especially if you're stressed, because when you get stressed, your breath gets more shallow and you breathe quicker. So you don't get the really deep breath that you need to be relaxed. Okay, so we'll talk through that a little bit more. And then the last one on this page is, which I'm not sure if you all can see, but it's asking for help when you need help. We all need help at times. And I think sometimes it's difficult for people to ask for help, but it's really a sign of strength if you know when you need some help and you ask for it. So
I'm always asking for help.
Good for you. That's
I'm
good.
like, can you help me? I need help.
Yeah, good for you, Kate. That's excellent. That's really, I think that's really
I
a
ask
sign.
for help every day.
Well, good.
I was like, I need help.
Should all follow your lead. That's excellent.
Lee, did you have a question? You're on mute again.
You're muted, Lee.
Unmuted.
There you go.
There you go.
All right. We have to anticipate to help people. We don't always need help, but we need to help sometime.
Yes.
We have to ask people who need help or not.
Yes, I agree. I agree. And then if you want to help or if you can help, that feels good too. That's a good point.
I always help my mama.
Do good. Yeah, I'm sure she appreciates that too.
Because I'm like, can I help with dinner? And she's like, I don't know.
I'd be saying yes, please. Please help with dinner, yes.
And Candace, I have a really good question.
Sure.
and I wanted to know what your answer was to this, but I've asked Colin it too. But so being being Bioarmor is better than Powerade or whatever. How is Bioarmor better than Powerade?
I'm not really sure what you mean by body armor. Can you explain to me what you mean by that?
It's like a form of like drink, kind of like Gatorade and stuff, isn't it, Aiden?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it's got coconut water in it.
Got more water in it.
Oh,
Okay. I'm not familiar with it, but I would check on the caffeine level and the sugar level in those kinds of drinks. Coconut water sounds like it's good. So maybe it doesn't have some of the other things that other energy drinks do. But I always check for the caffeine and the sugar level in anything that I drink, because those are the two components that are really not good for you. Okay.
so you should just read you should always read like the labels on things, because I know I would. You would want to know what you're putting in your body, right?
Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely. That's an excellent point. Yeah. Okay. Colin?
I was just gonna say two things really quick. So like Body Armor, Gatorade, Powerade, any drink like that, like I would recommend either drinking that like before a workout or after a workout. Like when I play a sport, I'll drink it after because it like gives you your sugar back. It does have sugar, but like I'm not just gonna walk around and drink it because it's not gonna do anything for me unless I'm like super dehydrated, because I might, it might help me with water if I drink it with water. And then the other thing I was going to say is like the breathing thing. Like I've met people in the military that have been like, when I'm out there or whatever, like when I'm really worried, or even if I'm not in combat or whatever, I'll breathe in and breathe out, and then I can bring my body back to like its normal, level. And then I also have a cool little quote in my room. It says, count to 4 inhale and then count to 4 exhale. So it's from one of the games I play, but it's always stuck with me. It's a good little motto. It's like when things are going wrong, just sit there, take a deep breath and let it out. So yeah, I just wanted to say I really agree with that. So
No, great. Thank you, Colin. No, I think that's great. And breathing in 4 and letting out 4 makes you slow down. And that's what you want. You want to slow your body down, especially if you're feeling anxious. You want to slow that down. And breathing is an excellent way of doing that. Thank you guys so much. Okay, I'm going to skip this slide. I'm going to talk about it in just a minute. Okay, using a stress ball. I'm sure you all are familiar with stress balls, and it's really a good thing. I've got several here to show you. There's several different kinds. This one's kind of a harder one that if you're really feeling anxious. I used to work in customer service years ago, and I worked on a complaint line. And so my whole job for 4 hours every time I worked was fielding complaints. And so I would I would have a stress ball in each hand because it was extremely stressful job. And they really kind of help, especially one like this, it's a little bit harder. And then there's one like this, it's not as hard, but it lights up. I don't know if you all can see that but it lights up a little bit. And it's just kind of fun. And if you don't have anything like that, you can use just a rolled up pair of socks. Anything that offers some resistance is really good to help that immediate kind of stress response. Okay. Strong messaging. I know Lee talked about thinking positively, and that's extremely important. And it's also challenging sometimes if you're feeling really anxious, if something's really stressing you out. It's really challenging to kind of turn that around and make it into a positive thought. So, but I think it's helpful sometimes to repeat affirmations, like positive affirmations. Anybody ever use positive affirmations to kind of control their stress? Colin, you want to explain some of the ones that you use?
yeah, I wouldn't really even say I have anything specific. I just like I guess I use more like for example, my sister is like a sports psychologist. I just like any like kind of stuff she puts out there I use, but just anything from like a positive character in a movie or like an athlete that's positive, like I just kind of try to look up to them in like a way. I feel like having a role model is similarly important, I guess, like the same as like a good quote or saying. It's just something that you can wake up and be like, I want to be more like this while still being yourself, but it gives you goals most importantly and keeps you in the moment. So I guess that's kind of like my example. I don't really have any particular quotes. Like the one I have in my room, I like a lot. I just like remember that one, but just, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, that's
Colin.
great. That's great. Did somebody else have anything to say?
Yeah, Kate.
Okay, go
Do
ahead.
firefighters count as role models?
Yeah, of
Of
course.
course, of course, absolutely.
Yay, I'm doing things right.
They're like some of
Good
the
job.
hardest, coolest people there are.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew I was
Yeah.
doing it right.
Good job, Kate. Good job.
Darn.
So some positive affirmations might be things like, I am strong, I am confident, I have control over my life, I feel good about who I am, I can do it. Any of those things, especially before you start going into an event, it's really good to kind of pump yourself up. You've heard people say that they stand and with their hands on their hips and say, I'm a warrior. Those things are great if that works for you. So anything to kind of start putting positivity in your head instead of the negative stuff that comes in once in a while.
I say throw the negatives into the garbage can.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said I'd say throw the negatives out to the garbage can and leave them there.
Yep, I agree. Okay, strong breathing. This is another one that we talked about just a little bit earlier, and this goes along with what Colin was saying, where he breathes in 4 and then lets out 4. And I think that's really important. This example is 5. You breathe in for 5, you hold it for 5, and you release it for 5. So it's really about the same. And so I like to take you through a little bit more and use a different way of breathing. We normally breathe with our chest area, and when we breathe in, our chest fills up, which is great because that's how we normally breathe. But if you want to breathe deeper, then you breathe with your stomach. So I want everybody to kind of try that. And when you breathe in, you can shut your eyes if that helps. Breathe in, but when you breathe in, allow your stomach muscles to fill up with air instead of your chest. Your chest will eventually open up too, but this gets it a little bit deeper than just your chest breathing.
You want us
Okay,
to
so-
like flex our abs, kind of like push them out?
Yeah, push them out. Like when you breathe in, imagine your stomach is filling up with air like a balloon. And then when you breathe in, when you breathe out, you want to pull your stomach to your spine. Okay, let's try that. So everybody take a deep breath and imagine your stomach is filling up with air. So it's kind of pooching out. You feel that? You feel it all the way up into your chest, and then breathe out and bring your stomach close to your spine. Okay, it's a little bit awkward, isn't it? Because we're not used to breathing that way, but it gives you a much, much deeper breath. So let's do it again. Breathe in. And then breathe out. Good? Okay. So when you're feeling stressed or right before you go into your event, this is a good way to breathe because it gives you a deeper breath, a fuller breath, and you'll feel more energy from it. Okay, stretching. You all are aware of stretching and how important that is before you start your event. And so I was going to take you through a little bit of just because we're all sitting, kind of a neck and shoulder stretch today. All right. So most of us hold our stress in this area behind our neck all the way down to our shoulders. Anybody feel it in that area sometimes? Yeah, that's where I hold mine too. So go ahead and take a nice deep breath. And when you start to exhale, bring your chin down to your chest as far as you can go that's comfortable. And just hold a couple seconds. And then bring it back to normal position. And keep breathing when you're doing this. And then you slowly tilt it to the left as far as it'll go. You'll feel it all the way down into your shoulders. And just hold it. And you might feel it pop and crack a little bit, which is good. Did you feel that, Colin? You said, yeah. Raise your head up and do the other side. Raise it back up. Take a nice deep breath. And then just look up your left shoulder as far as you can go. And then slowly go to the other side. And then come back to center. Take another nice deep breath. And we're going to do our shoulders. So I want you to raise one shoulder as far as you can go. And again, you might feel it crack and pop a little bit, which is what you want. And relax. And then do the other side. And then relax. And then do both. Great. And then do a little roll your shoulders. This helps right between your shoulder blades. Okay, good. That feel good?
Yeah.
It stretches it out. Yeah, good.
Yeah, it felt good.
Good. Okay, then the last slide is supporting. We talked about this a little bit in the very beginning, asking for support, knowing when you need support is the important thing, is really knowing when you need it and feeling comfortable to ask. But the other thing, and Kate touched on this, was to offer help to other people, which feels really good and it's really fulfilling. So not only do we want to be able to ask for help for ourselves, but we also need to identify when our family, our friends, our teammates also need some support and being willing to help them. So has anybody done that?
Hey,
Offered their help to other people? Good,
Hey, Candace.
good. Feels good, doesn't it?
Yes. Hey, Candace. Or
Yes.
Candy.
Yeah.
I got something to tell you.
Okay. Okay, great.
Every night I go to like a special school in Frankfurt, Stewart home. Every night I get my food cart for my house father every single day.
Good.
To help out. Plus, I'm working down at the laundry until they let me go back to Dairy Queen.
Fantastic, Kevin. And that feels good, I bet, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. Awesome.
Yeah. Good for you. Good for you. All right. Okay. So is everybody ready to do a meditation? Anybody have any questions before we
Yes,
go into
ma'am.
the Yeah, go ahead. No questions? Okay. All righty. So I want everybody to get comfortable. Sit back, lay down, whatever you want to do. And I just want you to try to do this and be as quiet as possible and to do it with your eyes shut if you can, if you're comfortable doing that, because it helps to kind of center yourself and it cuts out all the visual stuff that we normally see. Okay. So just go ahead and just close your eyes. And I want you to start focusing on your breath and breathe any way that you're comfortable. We're going to breathe in about 3 or 4 times before we get started. So just breathe in and breathe out very slowly, very smoothly. In and out. In and out. And with your next breath, I want you to start to imagine a beautiful place that you love. And it could be a place outside. It could be a place inside your house or in somebody else's house. But I want you to try to bring that place to your mind and start to really imagine what it looks like. And once you've imagined what it looks like, I want to imagine yourself there. Think about you being in this beautiful place. Continue to focus on your breathing, breathing in and out while you're envisioning this beautiful place. And while you're in this place, I want you to think if there's somebody else that you want with you, or you want your animals with you, or if you just want to be by yourself. Any of those are fine. And just imagine if you're outside feeling the sun on your body, feeling a little bit of wind on your face. If you're inside, just imagine what the room looks like, what colors the walls are, how the room is decorated. Whatever you feel, however you feel relaxed. And then with your next breath, I want you to start to relax different parts of your body. I want you to start at your feet. Take a nice deep breath and imagine that this breath is moving up your body through your feet, your ankles, your calves. And as you release the breath, imagine you're releasing all your stress, all your tension. And your body and your mind are becoming more and more in sync and more in balance and relaxed. With your next breath, imagine that your body's relaxing up through your thighs, up through your hips, this is an area that we carry a lot of stress in, our lower back. Imagine as you breathe out that you're releasing all that stress. With your next breath, imagine that your relaxation is moving up into your stomach area, into your chest. A nice deep breath and expand your lungs, which helps to relax them, stretches them out, makes them healthy. And exhale and let go of all that tension. And then with your next breath, slowly move up to your shoulders, which is where we carry more stress. Imagine your shoulders and your neck. Your arms are relaxing. They may feel a little bit limp. And then with your next breath, move into your head, to your brain. The breath will help relax your thoughts, slow them down, relieve the tension. And then one last deep breath and just do a scan of your body to see if there's any tense areas that you missed, any places that need to be relaxed. And send your breath and your focus to that part of the body and relax it. And with your next breath, just bring your thoughts to the place where you are, this wonderful place where you feel relaxed. And then start to focus on your breath again. And as you continue to breathe, the vision of this wonderful place slowly starts to fade. And bring yourself back to the room where you are right now. But when you come back relaxed, feeling balanced and at peace. Gently just start to focus on your breath a little bit. And then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes and come back to the group. Take your time. Okay, everybody back? Okay, how do you feel?
Good.
Relaxed.
Good. Now you
I
might
feel
feel
like,
a
sorry.
little lightheaded. If you do, just sit for a few minutes and drink some water. Okay?
I like this exercise a lot. I go hunting and fishing a lot, and this helps like I'm away from everything, my phone, internet and stuff. I'm just like outside and it where it's quiet and stuff.
Yes. I know our worlds aren't very quiet, are they anymore?
Not at all.
No, no.
Not at all.
We've always got a tablet or phone, the computer,
Yeah.
TV. Something's always creating noise. I think that's
Yes.
great, Morgan.
Yeah, me too. It's just make me so sleepy if I do it like 3 deep breath out.
Yeah, yeah.
Try to watch
I,
a movie at night before bed.
Yeah, I teach yoga and meditation at times, and people always fall asleep during the meditation, which I love. I love that. I love they feel that relaxed. So that's fantastic.
Yeah,
Okay, that's all. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I
I'm
do
sorry.
some yoga too.
Oh, good.
I do some yoga too.
Yoga's great. Yoga's great for, bless you.
Thank you.
Yoga is great for calming your body and calming your mind at the same time. It's great.
Not good.
Yeah, maybe you can come back and do do you do any chair yoga stuff?
Yeah, I could do some chair yoga.
That would be awesome.
Really awesome.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, we can plan that. That'd be fantastic.
How would
So-
y'all feel about that chair yoga? Would y'all be interested if we did that?
I would.
All right.
I will.
All right.
Definitely,
All right.
definitely yes.
Hi, Morgan.
Okay, that's great.
Hey, Hayden.
Hi, Kate. But
I didn't say
Candace,
I didn't say hi to you last time. I felt bad.
no, you're okay, Kate. But Candace, definitely I would be up for it because I've never done yoga before, but I've watched people do it, and so I'm thinking I want to get in with them.
Oh, good.
But then, you know, I hate to sound horrible or whatever, but with senior citizens doing it, and I'm thinking I need to get in with them, but I'm not a senior citizen. So,
Well, the thing about yoga is it's good for everybody. And people think when you think yoga that you're turning into a pretzel and things like that, and you can, but there's all kinds of yoga movements that you don't have to like twist and turn a lot, and they're fairly easy, but they're also really beneficial.
Right.
So we'll plan that, okay?
My friend
Yeah,
does
that'd be
yoga.
great.
Does she?
He does, yeah.
You like it?
He likes it, yeah.
Yeah. Now, I
We'll
think
have to-
He
I
says
think
it makes him feel more relaxed, but
it really
I don't know.
does.
He's got a son. He and his
Yeah.
wife have a son, so
Well,
I don't know
we'll-
how much I don't know how much relaxation they can get.
Well, we'll try it and see what you think. Okay? All right, that's all I've got, guys, unless somebody has some questions. Anybody have any other questions?
I was just gonna say for Hayden, like, dude, I've gone to yoga, like me and my friend walk in, you know, we're like bigger, stronger guys, and there's all these like, you know, I mean, I'm not gonna say people that do yoga are smaller, but there's like people in there that are like doing the poses so well, and we're like over here doing it to be more flexible and just like better at our sport. And so like, doesn't matter who you do it with, it's just like the experience is really fun. And for me, it was funny because like I was all right, but you know, I was learning like different moves and stuff, and like it just makes you better at not only like sports, but it relaxes you, like she said, and then also just like your posture and like being able to walk around better and just like avoid being hurt. Like it's just a really good, like, that's why it's so popular. So many people do it. I mean, some of the top athletes in the world do it. Like it's very important. It doesn't matter who you do it with because it's a super useful tool. So I wouldn't be too discouraged if there's older people in there. It doesn't matter. I got embarrassed when I did it too. So,
well, Colin, see, here's the thing I left out, that it was just for the senior citizens. It wasn't for young people like me. So, yeah.
And like I said, it's good for all ages. I used to teach a class for mommy and their kids, and they would bring their kids that were barely walking and taught them how to do it. So, and I've taught it for senior citizens and just everybody in between. So that's what's amazing about it. You can adjust it to anybody, no matter what you have going on, how inflexible you are, you can still benefit from it.
Yeah, for sure.
So we'll make a plan, okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right.
Well,
We'll do
thank you so much, Candace.
You're welcome,
This was
guys.
fun.
Thank you for participating. It was fun. I had a good time.
We'll have to
So-
close out the yoga with another guided meditation too.
Okay.
Those
Oh,
are
yeah.
the best.
Okay.
That was fun too.
Okay,
Yeah.
we'll do that.
Well, we will see you guys. If there's no other questions, we will see you guys not next week, but the week after that for another Wellness Wednesday.
Okay.
Bye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, guys.
Guys.
See ya.
Yes,
Bye.
thank you guys. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.